In this video, we will be looking at the property, plant and equipment of SpaceX. Firstly, you will navigate to the assets section of the company's financial reports. The total assets of SpaceX are divided into non-current assets and current assets. Within each category of assets are individual line items such as property, plant and equipment, goodwill, and acquired intangible assets, as can be seen here. In this video, I will be focusing on the property, plant and equipment line item. You can simply click on the property, plant and equipment and it will direct you to this page. You clicked on Financial Information Explained to find this video, and you can click on Financial Information where you will find all this financial information relating to SpaceX's PPE. All this information is found on the financial statements of SpaceX and have been broken down into individual aspects and explained in detail so that you as the user can understand this information and use it to make informed decisions. Firstly, we have the property, plant and equipment line item that would be found in the statement of financial position of SpaceX. This shows the total cost, accumulated depreciation, and net book value of the property, plant and equipment of SpaceX. As you can see, the total cost of PPE increased by $214 million from 2021 to 2022. This information alone is not sufficient to accurately explain the reason for this increase. We therefore use the notes to the financial statements to help us better understand the phenomenon and improve our understandability by providing complete information. You simply scroll down to find these notes. Note 1. This PPE Note 1 This is PPE Note 1, which gives more detailed information about the totals we have seen before. This note breaks down the total PPE into the individual items that make up the total property, plant, and equipment. Non-monetary information such as depreciation method and useful life of the fixed assets is also provided to enhance the understandability of this information for you as the user. This more detailed information helps to see more clearly which items of PPE cause the increase to the total cost of the PPE. Being able to clearly see these individual costs also helps users in decision making about the stewardship of the fixed assets and being able to identify clearly which items are nearing the end of their useful lives and hence estimating when new items of PPE will need to be purchased and budgeting for these purchases. However, this information alone still doesn't accurately tell the user why there was an increase. This leads us to Note 2. You can click on this button to view the full Note 2 document. This table clearly gives us the answers as to why the increase in cost and changes in total accumulated depreciation and book value of each of the items of PPE occurred. As we can see, for land specifically, in this table, we start with the balances at 1st December 2021, which is the start of the year for the 2022 year end. And then we see the movement during the year to bring us to the closing balances as at the year ended 30th November 2022. So looking at this information with land specifically, we see at the start of the year, 1st December 2021, the gross carrying amount, which is just the cost of the land, is $328 million. At the end of the year, 30th November 2022, it is $333 million. This is a $5 million increase. Why do we have this increase? We can clearly see this by just looking at the details. So we know that land was revalued by $5 million. And in the notes below, it says that land was revalued by an independent valuer during the year ended 30th November 2022, and the land was revalued upwards by $5 million from $328 million to $333 million. Looking at structures, facilities, and land improvements, we see at the start of the year it had a gross carrying amount, which is its cost of 13085. And then we have an opening accumulated depreciation at the start of the year of 9595, and hence a carrying value at the start of the year of 3490. Then at the end of the year, it has a gross carrying amount cost at the end of the year of 13267, and an accumulated depreciation of 9958, and hence a carrying value of 3309. What caused this increase? In cost specifically, let's look at cost first. Well, the cost increased by $182 million, and this would be due to additions. We know that it is additions from this table. Looking at the little notes at the bottom, we see that, so we look at more information in this with $182 million when we work with construction in progress, because construction in progress, the change in construction in progress, and structures and facilities and land improvements go hand in hand. So I will look at that one when we get to construction in progress. Looking at machinery and equipment, the cost at the start of the year was 16,098, 14,788 accumulated depreciation, and hence a carrying value of 1310. This change to the year-end value is due to a $56 million increase in the cost of machinery and equipment due to additions. Looking at the notes at the bottom, SpaceX acquired $56 million worth of machinery and equipment during the year ended 30th November 2022. So we know they purchased equipment. That's the reason for the increase in the cost. Then there was depreciation for the year, which is the reason for the change in the accumulated depreciation. Now looking at construction in progress. This change, so the cost changed from 1074 to 1045. This is a decrease of $29 billion. Construction in progress is exactly that. It is construction which is in progress. The $29 million decrease in cost is due to construction in progress being completed to then form finished structures, facilities, and land improvements. So the $29 million of construction in progress that has been completed will be part of the reason for the $182 million increase in the cost of structures, facilities, and land improvements. The rest of the amount of $153 million of increase in structures, facilities, and land improvements is due to the acquisition of additional structures, facilities, and land improvements by SpaceX during the year ended 30th November 2022. The depreciation of $363 million was then during the year, which then led us to the closing balance of accumulated depreciation of 9958 at the end of the year. These notes at the bottom are just the notes briefly explaining what I just explained, the movements during the year, to get from the cost, the opening balance cost of the individual line items of PPE, the movement to get to the closing balances. Going back to this information, to note 3 over here, this note discloses extra information about PPE, which is required by IFRS. It reads over here, capitalized costs include any costs incurred by SpaceX that are necessary for the asset to be brought to the location and condition where it can be used as intended by management. Costs that do not fit the definition of capitalized costs are expensed. So property, plant, and equipment, when we value property, plant, and equipment, it is valued at cost, which so they are capitalized assets, meaning all capitalized costs are added to the cost of property, plant, and equipment. And here the definition of capitalized cost is given. So up to the date when the property, plant, and equipment is ready to be used as intended by management, up to that date, all the costs incurred that are necessary for the asset to be brought to the location and condition where it can be used as intended by management, those costs are capitalized and included in the cost of property, plant, and equipment. If they do not fit this definition, then they are expensed in the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income of SpaceX. All this information is necessary because it mitigates or at least reduces the risk of inaccurate interpretations being made based on this information. All of the information necessary for you as the user to fully understand the phenomenon being depicted is made available here for you to use in order to make informed decisions about the PPE of SpaceX.